wonder why. I'll message it on Discord right now. Oh, thank you, Zakayla. You're a gem. Depp also dropped video evidence of Heard having abusive affairs with Elon and James Franco. No! What? God damn. Oh my god. Because she'll look like an idiot. Yeah. Every time I see her frowny face, it just irritates me. Mood. Monday through Thursday for jury. On Fridays, it's lawyer and judge. Okay. You have all the tea. I love it. Depp doesn't care if he wins or not because he just wants his side heard. Yeah. Well, because it's always been her op-eds and her everything about her side. And I'm like, doesn't seem right. So yesterday, my patterns overloaded. I bought 2 Lord of the Ring patterns and 2 Harry Potters. Plan to combine them into one. Oh my god, Navi, you're gonna be wildly busy. Saw that and I was like, figures. Well, like, okay, and this is the problem. Like, her security spoke out against her. Oh, Jesus. She's also been copying Johnny's outfits for the trial. Oh my god. Okay, but listen. Like, believe women. That's a truth. Like, right? We understand the thing of believe women. Like, I get that deep in my soul. I understand it. I logically get it. Because women aren't usually believed when it comes to these types of allegations. But you also have to look at that particular relationship. You have to look at the other half. You have to be analytical. Look at Johnny Depp. He doesn't look like he could hurt a goddamn fly. And we gotta dance. This is for Johnny Depp. Because he's gonna win. And at bare minimum, he's gonna make her look like a goddamn fool. He's gonna make her look like a goddamn fool. It's the truth. Not even breaking thought process there, Sam. For the first time ever, you handled that like a pro, babe. Rain, you been watching the trial all week? Dude, her lawyer is gonna freaking lose her job. Her lawyer is gonna lose their job after this. Johnny versus Amber thing is highlighting toxic femininity. And here's the thing. This is gonna basically invalidate a lot of that believe women movement, even though you should believe women. There are horrible people out there. The shit people. Being a shitty person doesn't discriminate by gender, all right? Being a toxic individual or a shitty individual doesn't discriminate based on gender or pronoun or anything of that variety. If you're a shitty individual, you're a shitty individual. So sometimes you need to take the gender portion out and actually look at the people involved in the scenario and say, who's actually the shitty individual here? And that's a very difficult thing to do. As someone who is very, believe women, I am a very believe women. But you gotta sometimes take out that gender component. You gotta take out the pronoun. You gotta take out the gender sometimes. And it's hard. believe people because Mummy Frog. I'm okay. How do I phrase this without trying to sound like an asshole? Now, if I have to say it like that, it's gonna make me sound bad. But it's the instant thought that came in my head. Because if you don't believe women, then how can you believe men? I guess is more of like, how can you believe all people if you can't even believe women? Do you know what I mean? It's more of like an equality issue. If you can't even believe a woman's story, how can you believe all people? How can you say you believe all people if you can't believe women? Is more of what I'm trying to say. But this is a type of thing that A, needs the court system, B, does not need the public looking in on it, and C, this is a case where Amber is very clearly the abuser. You know? Amber's the abuser. It's plainly obvious. Like, you can look at Johnny Depp and you can just see him in this court footage. Like, there's a couple of clips I've seen on Twitter. You can just see him in the court footage. No. Society is always going to side with a woman in an abuse case without proof that the woman is the abuser. Both sides should need proof, not just men. And to counter that, it's difficult to sometimes approve abuse, depending on the style of abuse. Because not all abuse is created equal. But in this scenario, the abuse that Johnny Depp is alleging is very much provable. So he's bringing that forward to the table, and he's proving it. And that's how it should be done. But like, not all abuse is created equal. And that's very difficult to fight, right? Like, how hard is that? Like, this is such a murky water sort of scenario. Like, that's so tough. Do you know what I mean? Alexis, mood, babe, mood. I like Navi's like, that's my life. How do I phrase this without being an asshole? Like, oh, I love this. At least Navi, you and I are like on the same page, girl. Did I just read that right? Amber Turd is that Am I the Asshole post where she's clearly the asshole, but then gets mad at anyone who points it out. And then the post gets locked after she makes 4 edits to the post. Like, stop DMing me. Yes, no, I'm not this. And then she tries to justify herself in 4 different edits to the Am I the Asshole post. Oh my God. Those are the posts I live for on that subreddit. Mwah! Oh, those are my favorite ones. He just wants to be heard. And we all know that he just wants his side of the story told. And Johnny Depp's getting his side of the story told, but it should not have taken this long. I love that we are talking about this as a community of predominantly women, and we have the dude's side. Yeah. I'd have to agree with that. Can we get some hearts in chat? Because listen, that is kind of difficult. Because it is so kind of instinctual that women in general try to stick together. But it's better when we stick up for what's right. And that's what I appreciate about every single one of you here in chat, is that all of you are sticking up for what's right rather than what's easy. Ha! Harry Potter quote. I appreciate that you all are sticking up for what's right rather than what's easy. And that's what's admirable about all of you. And I am honored to be included in your lives simply for that and that alone. So thank you. Also, BK, hello, my sweet bean. How are you? And how is Ember? How is the baby? How's my little babies? It's common that the abuser accuses the victim. Ember's much better. Oh, give her some hugs for me, please. I've been thinking about her. I've been very worried about her. Please give her some hugs for me. Look at him and I just see, yeah, you can look at Johnny Depp and clearly just see that he's tired. He's tired and he's in pain. He's at a point where he's just so exhausted that he's wearing his heart on his sleeve. He's done. He's tired. He's hurting. Amber Turd is a disgrace to feminism and deserves what she gets. As they say, play shit games, get shit prizes. Amen. Comment, you beautiful bean. Hi. Hi. How's it going? Oh yeah, that's a dick move. Yeah, Luca, dick move.
Nighttime. Daytime. Nighttime. Daytime.
Happy ponies. Oh my God. I've been thinking about you and I have missed you. I was wondering where you've been and I almost thought about, like, I didn't want to be weird and like just message you and be like, are you okay? Are you alive? Like, I hope you're okay. I hope like nothing happened. Cause I was just, I just didn't want to be that person, but like, I've missed you and I've been thinking about you and I've been worried about you. So it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for that resub. I appreciate that, but I'm just happy that you're here. What's Finn Balor's contract looking like? Like, what's Finn Balor? Like, you made this point on your stream. What's Finn Balor's contract looking like? Right? Because we already know Finn Balor has connections to New Japan. So what's his AEW or his WWE contract looking like? Tony Khan would have a better opportunity to actually keep a Finn Balor contract super secretive and make that a really either quiet, keep that really quiet and make that debut a couple of weeks before the pay-per-view to get extra drum up, or have it be a surprise at the actual pay-per-view event. Elements is being stupid. Elements is being stupid. Elements is being really stupid. Elements is being really stupid. Exclamation point, welcome to welcome our Raiders, because Elements is being really stupid and not doing the alerts. Hi, Pick Stitch, you beautiful freaking human, how are you? Oh my god! Surprise, motherfucker! Hello! Thank you for that shout out, Pix. How was your day? Wasn't today Bowser's party? Wasn't today Bowser's party? Oh my god, I see so many names. There's oh my god, Alexis, you are a double agent. And then there's Emmy. And there's Sweetling, you beautiful bean, and Sam, and Black Sheep, and Zakayla, Zakayla, I see you. Jay Cooney, LP, Kat, hello! It was Bowser's Bay-Day. Oh, how so cute. Give Bowser some love for me, please. Oh my god. You've been looking like a creep. I love you. Hey, Hollow Knight's fun. Hollow Knight's fun. You got this. I believe in you, babe. Balor's until 2024. Damn, that would have been a really good get for him now. That would have been really good. Damn. We'll have to think of some other crazy theories though, Badger. How far did you get though, Pix? Also, listen, if you all don't follow Pickstitch, aka Justin, aka my Twitch bae. Stream Elements is being dumb. Stream Elements is being dumb. Stream Elements is being dumb. Listen, if you don't follow Pickstitch, first of all, Justin, I think, is like my Twitch bae, all right? Second of all, if you don't follow him, like, the amount of love and compassion and, like, just the amount of pure joy and amazingness that community is, it's so pure, wonderful, and all nerdy. If you love nerdy crafting at all, and you love charity work, and you love just fucking up Justin's night, that's the exact moment that you need. You need to go follow him. Absolutely. T Ninja, thank you so much for that host, babe. I appreciate you. Mwah! Kai, how are you? Stream Elements needs some espresso. Aim fucking men to that. Azure Koi, hello. How are you, babe? That sounded like the goose at the end. Hyonk hyonk. Kat, thank you so much for that host. I appreciate you, babes. Okay, Pix was remaking body parts and lots of balls. Balls all sorts of sizes. You know, that sounds like a very you conversation. Making so many balls. That sounds very you. That sounds so you. Zakayla, thanks for that host, babe. I appreciate you. The only reason we don't have an on-screen alert is because I need to actually go download the Katrina Geralt dance so we can have that, like part of that as our on-screen alert for hosts. Am I gonna finish the Stardew Cell by December? You assume I finish things. That's cute. Okay, but listen. I'm gonna catch up on chat in just a second. I need to do my intro for anybody who might be just coming in. But also, first of all, Justin, you've been streaming. You've been busy, my love. Go do your post-stream routine. I know you're busy. I know you need to de-stress. You need to decompress. You need to go eat. I know you're better than this. You need to go eat. You need to go hydrate. You need to go take care of yourself, babe. Go do that real quick, please. Thank you for coming in. It's such an honor that you came in here today. I appreciate you. Second of all, Raiders, welcome on in. My name is Liz. I'm Sleeping Luna Designs. I'm a bit of a stressed out squirrel today. Okay? I'm a bit of a stressed out squirrel. There's good reason for stressed out squirrel, but I'm a bit of a stressed out squirrel, so I appreciate your patience when you're coming into the craft cove today. I'm a cross stitcher primarily, but I also do other things like crochet. And when we get back from the wedding, we're gonna start sewing and doing a sewing stream to make some fun quilt tops and things. We also play cozy games like Stardew Valley and Unpacking, and we bring chaos to the cozy games. If you think that's gonna be right up your alley and you vibe with that stuff, please, I would love to get to know you. And there is a ton of really cool people. There are just so many cool people around here. We'd love to vibe with you. So welcome on in, friends and family. Hi. Navi, have a good night, babe. I love you. Mwah. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Tell Kings I said hello. I love you. Have a good night. Okay, now I'm gonna go and catch up on stream. Or on chat. Whew! Badger, bear with me. This is a flat earth level conspiracy. Paige's contract expires in June. Paige hasn't fucking wrestled in ages. You know, like, Paige hasn't wrestled. Paige hasn't wrestled. Was that a medical thing that she hasn't wrestled because, or was that like by choice that she isn't wrestling at this point? But honestly, that's a good conspiracy theory. I kind of dig that one. With Cody and his wife bouncing, that's a great freaking theory. I actually really dig that idea. And they have the budget to do it now that Cody and his wife are gone. So uneven. Luna, it was so bad I had to watch pigs fondle balls for hours. My poor sweet innocent eyes. Sweetling, if you're innocent, then what am I? What am I? Okay, I'm done. Professor Fuzzy Boots, you gem, how are you? Kai, you're very tired and stressed. I'm one of 2 TAs, and the other TA is on strike, which means you're doing all the work. Oh no! That's so shitty. Like, that is infinite amounts of shitty. I hate this for you. I think you need to tell the professor that they need another TA. My cat needs to stop being lazy and chase this bug. Amen. Kai, are you feeling better? You said you were sick this week. Does Stardew Valley have a tutorial? I just got it and I have no clue how it works. Ish? I mean, they kind of basically throw you into the middle of it, but feel free to ask questions. There's also, there's a wiki, and the wiki will help a lot too. If you need the wiki, let us know and we'll get you the link. I know she's still around WWE as a manager coach, but it's a medical thing. Danielson came back, Edge came back. Cinder. Ray our raiders, Mama Knits, aka Puff Puff, aka the one that can give Looney Loonworks the most amount of shit that I've ever seen in my life. How are you, my favorite person? Okay, listen. If you were in Looney Loonworks stream earlier, you would know that someone anonymously donated $20 to force Looney Loonworks to get a balls counter on their stream. Someone anonymously donated $20 to make that balls counter show up.
Daytime! Nighttime! Daytime!
Cinder, thanks for gifting that sub. I appreciate you. Go, yes, Cinder, go. Run and rehydrate and pee and all that. Love you. Mwah. AKA the sub slapper. No, I didn't hear it. I didn't see that part. I had to go for work. Gotta head out. But I posted it in Discord. You live in full coverage Lord of the Rings? Sassa. No shit. You and I are gonna be friends. You're gonna also be friends with one of our other mods who's not here tonight. She loves Lord of the Rings. You're gonna be friends with her real quick. I'm excited to talk to you more, so we'll catch up soon, okay? Have a good night. Mwah! But listen, if you were in that stream earlier with Looney Loonworks and the balls counter happened, the anonymous donation to St. Jude for the balls counter. Hi, I'm anonymous. Welcome on in. Sorry, Looney. You put the offer out there, bud. Have a good night, Sassacast. Comment, welcome back, babe. How are you? Lord of the Rings is one of my special interests. Kai, if you haven't talked to Graceful Dawn yet, you absolutely need to. Graceful Dawn is a huge Lord of the Rings fan and like obsessor. You and Dawn would absolutely get along so swimmingly. Oh my God, why am I not surprised? China, I love you. And thank you. This map has had 0 Progresso soup. I have had 0 time. But you know what? We're gonna pretend like I've made some Progresso soup. Everybody else in our lives has made a lot more Progresso soup on this map than I have. But we're gonna pretend like we've actually done some work. How are you, China? It's been a minute. It exists. Thank you. I don't feel so alone anymore. Thank you. Clap, clap. Thank you, cat. You're evil and I love you. Irish, I get it from you. I get it from watching you, my friend. Progresso is overrated? Is it really, though?
High five! Yes! Barf! 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 Woof! Woof! Woof!
Cinder! 28 months? Has it really been? Does this mean that I need to set up a 3-year alert soon? Oh my God, I need to set up a 3-year alert soon. Holy shitballs. Thank you so much for 28 months. I appreciate you so much. Asher! Right though? Almost all of my bit alerts and some of my sub alerts are Markiplier. He hates those videos. They're some of my favorite videos on the internet. I know some of my stitching is off on the map, it's fine, but we'll pretend everything's okay. See, that's the beauty of some of these full coverage stitches, Alexis, is that you can just kind of fudge it a little bit and no one's gonna know. No one's gonna know. Twitch never lies. Right? Twitch doesn't lie. Your sub baby is like 19 months old, right? Jesus, we have a toddler? Oh, we almost have a toddler? Jesus. I'm good. Can we yeet that? Like, can we yeet the toddler? I'm good. Heck, we have 3 sub babies now. Oh God. I'm not pushing those out. I just want to throw that out there. I'm not pushing those out. Need a storage unit? Do we want to put a box back there that says storage unit for sub babies? That would be morbid, but I'm all about it. All about it. Lori, sweetheart, how are you? How are things tonight? And put in the stuffed squirrels? Fucking perfect. Absolutely. I love this idea. We'll do more crochet after we get back. And I know we keep saying, oh, after we get back. Oh, after we get back. But listen. I leave in a few days. When we get back, there's one project that I am dead set on doing on stream. I am dead set on working on the memorial quilt for Nana on stream with all of you, because I feel like if I work on the memorial quilt by myself, I will not be able to hold my own composure. But with all of you here, it makes it a lot easier, because then we get to hang out and talk and be a group and be a family. And being able to do this with my family, it's a lot easier to handle, you know? And being able to create new memories with my family while working on something for my family makes it a lot easier, you know? So that'll be great. And second of all, we're gonna work on some crocheted squirrels, because listen, we're gonna make a crocheted squirrel army. That plan is still in place. We're gonna restart the one that I started, because we don't have the right safety noses, for sure. We don't have the right safety noses. But we're gonna make a crocheted army of squirrels. 100%. I should find uber small crochet squirrels for sub babies. I love it. I love that. By the way, Liz, you really need to watch Dynamite, AEW Dynamite back if you can. Iconic moment happened last night. Shit. All right, cool. Badger, I wonder if I can download it and watch it on the plane. That might be an easy way to handle it, because then that way I can do that. I can watch it while I'm stitching on the plane. No, so the noses that I did get were iron-on. They ended up being heat noses, and that sucks. You'll be here and you can't. Oh, Whitney, I love you. Speaking of my friend Little Stabbies here, I want to show this off one more time, at least tonight. That link I just posted in chat, that is actually to our friend The Witchy Stitcher's blog post. Now, for my stitching friends, you'll know The Witchy Stitcher as a pretty core part of the cross-stitch community as a goth designer. She's great. And here's the reason why we're showcasing her blog tonight. She's doing a designer showcase. Basically, if you buy from one of the designers that is in this blog post, y'all, listen. If you buy a pattern from anyone in this post and you send your receipt to Witchy Stitcher's email address, that's listed here, you will get this spooky, scary skeletons pattern shown up here for free, emailed back to you. So if you purchase from any one of the designers that Witchy herself curated and picked out, purchase a pattern from them, send Witchy the receipt, Witchy will email you a pattern that she designed specifically for this event. Little Stabbies is included in that. I love Whitney's. Mwah. Excellent shit. Witch's Garden Crafts. Okay, gotta say, Witch's Garden Crafts did, I don't know if it's still going or not, but she actually has a pattern that's up for Ukraine. And it's actually that quote with the sunflower quote. It's stunning, and I actually really want to stitch it. Michelle's good people. I like her a lot. Bad Stitch has some gorgeous art. Like, look at that. Her moons are just, they give me life. Urban Stitches has some really great black work. I don't know Curio Cabinet Crafts too well. Oh, hey, look, I recognize this one. And then Nova Stitch. Nova Stitch comes around here every once in a while. We know Nova. And then I don't know Screaming Heart as well, but I do like their patterns. And then Stitchy Ferret is a member of a couple of our communities, but most notably was on streams with Pick Stitch last year doing some stuff and does some incredible dyed fabric. But yeah, purchase from anybody on this list, send the receipt to Witchy Stitcher, you get a free pattern. Excellent stuff. Oh my God, Frozen Mirage, you glorious human. It's like you knew what I needed.
I can see it.
Hi, Frozen. How are you?
How are you?
Yes, Sweetling, Urban Stitches, black work, tons of it. She also does free sals. I'll have to find some of her free stitch-alongs that she does, and they're amazing. Oh my God, ow, 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 in the best way possible, ow.
Hi, everybody.
Frozen Shimmers. I have to put that Frozen Shimmers clip in Frozen's, I'll have to put that in his command. This blog post has definitely helped me find more favorite shops. That deal is good until April 30th. So if you can't do that today, that blog, everything, that deal is good until April 30th.
I love the photos that she does for like all of her promo stuff. Looks so good.
Oh, Witchy?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got
Just
really
love
good.
her site. It's
Dude,
just
she's
so
got great
good.
marketing.
That's true.
I want to know what she, like, how she does her marketing. And Night Spirit also does some really freaking solid marketing too.
Yes, also true.
I just want to know what they do because we need that in our lives.
You just gotta be more spooky.
No. I don't do spooky patterns very well.
No, you
I don't do
your
spooky.
Whole life has to be spooky.
I don't do spooky very well.
I'm talking
past.
black walls, skull candelabras.
I do pastel pretty damn well. I don't do spooky. As much as I love the spooky aesthetic, I thirst after that spooky aesthetic. I wish I could be a spooky bitch, but listen, this pastel stuff just attaches itself to me and it's like, this is my life.
Her outside is dark, cold, gothic. Her inside is very rainbow.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. I'm so much of my insides are so rainbow that it just bleeds out into everything else in my life despite desperately wanting to be a goth bitch. It hurts.
They're gonna show us the way.
See?
It's,
It all makes sense.
barf, I know. Night Raven, thanks for that follow. I appreciate you, my friend.
What do you mean barf?
I know, because
You
it's...
can't barf at that, miss. I was in here crying at writing my vows.
I'm okay with pastel, bish, okay? That's enough listening. I love you, Pix. I don't mind spooky, but I love pastels and I'm obsessed with most Christmas patterns. I love it.
I can't do pastels. Why is everybody so hype on pastel?
My entire life is pastel. Come on, you have to dance with me!
What about bright, vivid colors? Like the really crazy.
You have to dance!
So bright that it hits your eyes and you die a little bit inside. That's what I like.
No, you have to keep dancing! You came in here to solve your headache when you know who I am?
I know. I took Excedrin. It just hasn't kicked in yet.
He came in here to solve his headache. Does he know who he's marrying in 8 days?
I came to look at your beautiful face and not a screen. See, that usually helps.
That's fair, but do you know the volume of the woman you're marrying?
Yeah. If I didn't know the volume of the woman I'm marrying, I don't know that we'd be getting married. Because that means you would have never have spoken to me. And that seems a little bit like,
Arranged marriage?
Daytime! Nighttime!
We're kidnapping?
Daytime!
seems like I'm going to be on that chapter in like a week or two.
Oh my god. Lexor, thank you for continuing your gift sub that you got from Tanya. I appreciate you. Nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime.
See, Pix knows.
I come here to solve my headaches too. Jesus fuck. I'm not even half done inputting numbers mainly because I'm here in your chat. Zakila, I love you so much.
Also, hi, Pix. Much love.
Yes, Pix. By the way, Pix, all the love, babe. Like, seriously.
Oh, that, you know, Irish, that's actually not that many years off.
Frozen can't wait to grow old with Liz so he can turn off his hearing aid.
No, I just want, like, unique volume control. Like, I'm actually happy that I have someone so loud because that means I won't have a hearing aid that won't be able to match up to what I need. Like, I have had grandparents with fucking hearing aids, and I'm so soft-spoken that they turn it all the way up, and they're like, "What'd you say?" I will never have that problem. That's a good problem to have. What? It's a good thing. As I get older, you will become more and more normal voice to me. I think that's a good thing. Soon you'll be the only person in the world I can hear.
That's a terrifying thought process, too.
Why?
Oh my god. Frozen sup. Wow, I pop in for a moment and I get to see a wild wandering Frozen. Hello, Nominee! How are you, honey? It's so good to see you.
That's what I'm saying, Pix. Just getting to old is where I'm trying to get to.
Sorry, Liz, I've been too nice to you today. I have a reputation to uphold. Fair enough, Irish. It's fair.
Whatever, Irish. You're just a big teddy bear. We all know it.
It's fair. It's very fair. It's so fair.
A horny teddy bear, but a teddy bear nonetheless.
Hey, listen. He already threatened.
Listen.
He already threatened to unalive me today.
Why?
Something to do with you, me stealing you as a hetero life mate. Stealing his hetero life mate, aka you.
As long as you keep coming into the stream, Irish, you got me right here. I'm not going anywhere.
I made it to this, quote, old age thing I keep hearing about.
Listen, Irish.
No. Pix, motherfucker, you're not old.
Irish, as long as I marry her, I get to stay here with this channel. So, you know, it's actually a good thing if you look at it that way.
He's not wrong, Irish.
Because if we weren't married or together, then she'd just be doing this and I would be disappearing. Probably shrivel up in a hole and die, really, but...
Oh, don't be so sad.
That would be sad. That's
Don't
how
be
I-
so sad about that.
That's what would happen if I didn't have you.
No,
That's-
stop. Don't be depresso.
That's not depresso, that's a truth.
I see your glare, Liz. It's true. Race you with my walker.
Wait, you threatened to unalive me? You son of a bitch!
Okay.
You bastard-coded bastard! I'm not even here to defend myself, and you're unaliving me to the masses.
In my own defense,
Yeah.
I don't remember why I said that.
Oh, that's not good.
I know.
You just threatened to kill me on a whim.
I kind of think I did.
That's going to my vows.
You know what? I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I think the last few days, we have been talking back and forth, and anything ridiculous that we've done has been like, that's going in my vows. Like, anything ridiculous has just been like, no, that's going in my vows.
Yeah, that'll be the last line of my vows. It'll be super sweet, everyone will be crying, and then I'll be like, but if you ever find me dead, Liz did it.
Yeah. And that's gonna be live streamed and live streamed on the internet and recorded for forever and a day. Do you know? And here's the thing, if he actually did say, if I'm dead, she probably did it, probably the gut reaction would be like...
He said if I was in charge of drinks at the wedding...
Oh, yeah.
Right now? Oh.
Yeah, no. So, Soft Goth Love is getting married, like 8 days after us.
Right.
Her husband, her future husband, is in charge of drinks for the wedding. In charge of the bar.
Yeah.
In charge of setting up all the drinks.
Yeah.
Still hasn't done it yet.
Uh-oh.
And so I said, if that was you at this point, no, you'd be dead by then. You'd be dead by now. That wouldn't happen. You'd be dead by now.
Why would I be dead? You can't make me pay for the crime if I'm dead already. Think like a torturer, not like a murderer.
Think like a torturer, not like a murderer?
Correct.
Does that need to be a cross stitch? Think like a torturer, not a murderer? Like, I feel like that needs to be a really weird, niche cross stitch. Like...
No, you can't break TOS on our wedding stream, Emily. There is no TOS. It's gonna be streamed to family and friends. I mean, you could definitely upset a few people. That is for sure. But no TOS.
That is $100 a cross stitch? You said 100%. No, you meant $100. And the thing is, you're not wrong. Because both are very valid.
I'll design it, but it will be $100.
Your friends are on Twitch. Listen, China's not wrong.
Well, that's true, but it's... We're not live streaming to everybody. I am very much a private person.
It's true. We're not... Listen, if we live streamed the wedding, it would actually ruin the Frozen has a face facade. Or Frozen doesn't have a face facade.
I mean, I'm down to wear a mask for the entire wedding. What? I've been actually looking into masks so I can be on stream.
On stream is fine. At our goddamn
And
wedding?
phone.
And our goddamn wedding?
Uh-huh.
No.
Yes.
So when can I file for a divorce?
Right after you get married. You can do it right there on the island.
Hey, Tanya? Hey, Tanya, so there might be a vacancy for getting married here in like a short minute.
Okay, Shannon, yes, that is true, but I want something very specific and very customized. And the problem I'm having is that somebody's going to have to make me a mask from the ground up. And it is not going to be cheap for me, this much I am aware.
Bitch, I'm ready! Listen, here's the thing. There's a board of directors in this relationship. And it's neither one of us.
The cats, obviously.
Oh, honey. You are foolishly mistaken.
Oh, yeah, I could paint my face for the wedding. See, that's not a mask. Irish is just on top of the ball with these ideas today.
And to think that I made myself cry
It is not...
multiple times
Not a
when
big
I
deal.
wrote your vows. I wrote my vows for you, and I cried multiple times.
Uh-huh.
And to think that this is what you're gonna do?
And to think, not even 8 hours later, you threatened to unalive me in front of the public.
Yeah, that's par for the course. Yeah, that's par for the course. I said it in a theoretical situation. You didn't actually have to. I said if you had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a theoretical situation.
You still threatened to unalive me.
That's par for the course.
You can't use the vows thing to make yourself seem like you're super emotional about it and then threaten to unalive and divorce me in the same breath. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
You're going to be really upset when you hear my vows, I swear.
Probably.
You're going to be like, wow, my heart. It hit all the points in my heart. You know the end of Kill Bill? That's what I'm going to do to your heart. With love. 5-finger palm technique to your heart. Done.
Nominee, I love you. You're my favorite.
You're going to walk 5 steps after this wedding and collapse.
Is this
In
Frozen?
tears.
Is this Frozen's way of coming out as a furry? I believe so.
No.
Don't let him lie to you. I believe it is.
I have no problem with furries, but it's just not a lifestyle I could jump into.
I think he's a furry deep down. He just doesn't want to admit it yet. As long as it's not the wedding rehearsal scene.
No, I'm saving the really weird shit for when she's locked into this marriage.
We've been together 7 years. What really weird shit is left?
Well, you'll find out.
Oh,
Only
God.
a couple weeks to go.
Not a couple of weeks. 8 days.
Well, no, a couple weeks after the wedding.
Oh, okay.
We have to be married for a little while before I unload.
Ha! Freezing.
No,
Oh.
I meant that.
Oh. Thank you, Cinder. I love you. Cinder's keeping me on track tonight because we actually do have to end on time. I have other moderator duties tonight. So, Cinder is doing an amazing job keeping me on track. Thank you.
Alright, no matter.
Bye, Frozen.
Bye.
I love you. I feel like if I say no, I love you more, that I would get chastised really badly. So, you win. Liz, he's a man. We always have weirder shit. Mood. Other modding? Yes, there is another stream tonight that we are all going to go to afterwards. We have a planned raid, and I am so excited. I am so excited. I'm going to be modding for someone tonight, and we have a planned stream with a really cool art event tonight. I'm so excited. This person never streams nighttime. So we are going to, like, go and, like, we're going to go and bring the weird tonight, all right? I want to, like, go and bring some chaos. Okay? We're gonna go and bring some of this chaotic energy and like all of our wonderful chaos and love and more chaos. We're gonna bring that today, okay? So be ready. Josh, Liz, modding, that only seems like a slightly better idea than me modding. Mood though, right? Cause like, listen, I'm a mod that's like, I'm the mod that encourages the chaos. I'm definitely the mod that conspires with everybody else in chat to cause problems. I will still swing the hammer and protect the streamer, but I am definitely the mod that likes to fuck around and find out. So we're gonna definitely fuck around and find out tonight. We're gonna have fun, but at the same point, bring some chaotic energy, some love, some support. It's gonna be a good time. I'm ready. Glad I put on my Loki panties today. Perfect. Excellent. Stick around for numbers, but then I'll have to balance it. Yeah, no worries. Perfect. No worries, Irish. I appreciate it. But what is everybody's plans? What is everybody's plans for the rest of their evening? because I need my mouse for a second. I'm sorry. All green? No. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, y'all. I'm good. Love you, Luca. Thank you for being here. Mwah. If your left ball is green, you should see a doctor. Thanks. Thanks for that. I also got a new job where I'm working a lot less hours, so my mental state is much better. Oh, good, Emma. Congratulations. But yay, so good. So many good things. When there's like 12 hours before I'm supposed to get paid, and I'm now being told I'm not gonna get paid on time. I'm sitting here and I'm like, forget kick, I need to use a cast iron frying pan. I've got 2 if you want one of them. I'm more than happy to donate to that cause. For some people, that could mean homelessness. Yeah, and that's... I can't be late on rent. We're gonna be out of the country. We're gonna be like... I was gonna say out of the... That definitely sounded like a word it wasn't supposed to sound like. We're gonna be out of the continental 48. And I cannot do electronic payments. Therefore, I have to write a check. And I have to be able to date that check correctly. So not knowing when that money is going to show up is a very big problem.